So I've been using this mower for 60 days now, and there are some things I absolutely love about it. There's also a few things that I think that you should know before you drop the cash. So let's dig into it. About 5 years ago, I started looking at some robotic lawnmowers and learning about them, and the technology at that time required you to put a wire all the way around the boundary, and then also somehow put a wire around the no-go zone. And then a couple years ago, I noticed there's some new technology that allowed the robotic mower to run off of satellites. And it's amazing. You don't have to put any wires out. You just go around with your app with this right here and you program it. So one of the most time-consuming things of the installation was putting this RTK unit right there that's on the roof. That speaks to the satellites, and then it also speaks to the Yarbo. And that really helps to get you within centimeters what they advertise of accuracy. So if you look at it from this angle, you'll see that the green light is on when it's working properly. If it's blinking or something, then you know there might be a connection issue. So there's also a cable that goes from that to your Wi-Fi, so it plugs right into my router. And then we have the charging station, this right here. So that just takes a little while to install that. And that has a cord, it's protected here, it goes all the way to an outlet outside my house. So that's always plugged in, and it automatically goes back to this to charge. I probably want to move this somewhere else, which isn't too difficult to do because it always spins and turns on that right there. And that's kind of sandy and the grass doesn't ever grow right there. But for now, it's working really good for me. One thing I was thinking about doing right here is putting some type of roof over the charging station, maybe like some type of lean-to roof or maybe some kind of shed style roof. I'd probably put 4 posts down on the ground and then build a roof over it. That'll just keep the rain and the snow, everything like that off of it. And then I'd want to keep it open a little bit on the sides so that way I can run the blower and clear it off without everything getting trapped inside. So what's the learning curve like to use this? Really, it's not that difficult at all. I really would recommend just spending some time in the app, going through it, maybe watching some other videos of some other people showing you how they program it. But just going back and forth through there, it really makes sense the way they have it laid out. So once you're ready to program the Yarbo to your property, you can do different zones. So I made one big zone around the property back here, and there's 2 different ways to do it. You can manually walk through behind your mower, steering around the perimeter. You can use, they give you this Xbox controller right here and your phone goes up there, or you can just go ahead and take your phone with the app. And that's typically what I do and just walk behind it. But in the wintertime though, it's really nice to have this so you can have gloves on versus having to have your fingertips exposed like in the cold snow. So the best thing to do if it works for your situation is to program it before it gets really cold out. But if not, this seems to work pretty well. So yeah, you can just go ahead and steer this wherever you want. So that trailer right there is one of my no-go zones. That's one of my work projects. I picked that up for $500 and think I can restore it a little bit. So this shagbark hickory tree right here, this doesn't have a no-go zone. It's amazing. The Yarbo has some sensors that will automatically go around it. So when I'm programming a zone, I just go to the far outside right there. And you can set it so when it does actually mow, you can have it go in a couple inches. So as far as the setup goes with this, is really quite easy. Yarbo does a great job explaining. They have some online videos. They send a booklet that has really easy laid out instructions. It's amazing how nice of a job they do with that. And it just takes all the anticipation and potential frustration out of the mix. And then if that doesn't work, they also offer great customer support. Let's take a close-up look at the Yarbo mower in action. You can see it's taking on some pretty bumpy terrain right here. This is some pretty thick spring grass, and it's mowing some really nice straight lines. I don't think I can mow lines that straight with my zero turn. I've had a lot of practice. There's all different types of settings you can do on this. You can change the pattern of the stripes. You can make it a grid pattern, a diamond pattern. You can change the overlap. You can change the turnaround speed, the height, all kinds of settings. So if you're new to robotic lawnmowers, I want to just take the time right now to tell you a little bit about some of the main differences between that and your traditional mowers. Like I have a zero-turn lawnmower. So when I'm out here, I can usually let this go probably anywhere from like 5 to 10 days before I mow it again. With the robotic mower, I usually like to mow it like this time of year where things are growing really fast, maybe like every third day. So it'll do this one day, it'll go do another zone the next day. It can do those other 2 zones probably in the same day. There is another zone over there that I haven't added in yet, but I may be working on that. But as you see in my yard right here, it probably is gonna be a little bit over 3 acres, and it can definitely handle it. A lot of the other robotic mowers cannot mow that much. So that's one other thing to consider with this Yarbo mower. Okay, this is something I want to show you. I think it's pretty interesting. I drew a no-go zone right here in my yard. This is where the sump pump discharges. It's probably about 75 feet away from my house. So this is just clean water, and the deer like to come out here and they step in it quite a bit. That's why they kind of have it all stirred up. But what's interesting is you can see how straight these lines are that the Yarbo makes. But let me step back a minute and show you something else interesting. So you can see right here, even though there's that no-go zone, it makes that line still perfectly straight. So if you're mowing yourself by hand, it'd be a little bit tricky around some obstacles like that to continue making that line straight. But it definitely, you can see it does a really nice job. So I just disconnected the power from the mower attachment. So this is pretty easy. There we go. So if you can see right down here, if you tilt it up, you can have that lock in place right there. So I'm gonna do that on this side. It helps if you're not going downhill. So we'll go this way, kind of with the hill. Let's see. There. So that holds it in place. And let's get a close look at this. All right, so looking inside here, I have a little bit of a leaf buildup. So I'm not exactly sure how often you want to change these razors right here. I think I've heard some people say like every month. What you can do, they're double-sided. You can unscrew these, turn them around, and then like when this side gets dull, go ahead and use the other side because that should be pretty sharp. And these should be able to both spin quite free. So right on the bottom here, there's a bunch of gunk built up. So it's a good idea, especially like I said, when it's wet, this stuff builds up pretty fast. When it's really dry, I don't notice it so much. Then you might get a notification that when the blades doesn't turn, you could get some stick or something jammed in there. So you have to take this apart, carefully pull that off. There was one time where I noticed that this was bent. It somehow, when the razor blades went on the other side of this steel, this metal bar right here, this protector guard. So I thought that this disc right here was completely shot, which sometimes they do break. I was lucky that it didn't break. So this what I recommend is getting some backups, maybe at least a couple different ones, because if one of these goes out, you might be a whole month waiting to get another one of these right here. I don't know if there's any place you can get express shipping or not, like Amazon Prime or something like that, but if they ever do offer it on there, then you'll be in good shape. But I just want to make sure I have a few of these. Then in this little package, there's all the little razor blades. So I would say it's most likely that just one is going to go bad at a time, but I'd say having 3 of these on hand is going to be just a nice insurance policy to keep you up and running in case something happens. So one thing I think I'm going to do this weekend is flip these razor blades around so the sharp new edge is going against the lawn. I'd say this other side is probably getting pretty dull because it took on like the whole 60 days of springtime mowing where we had some pretty thick stuff like dandelions and then all the clover and then the different twigs that maybe had fallen over the winter time. So now that we're at a good point, if I flip them around, then I'm hoping that I can get through the rest of the summer. But I'll see how it goes. I might have to do it sooner, and it's not too expensive just to put new razor blades on. Yeah, when this is dry, I like to also take my leaf blower in there or even my air compressor and just blast the stuff out. Just makes it work so much better. So to get back up and running, it's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and plug it in right here. And then put this cover back on. And back here in the back, there's a little button that you push and hold it for about a half second. And there, you see everything lighting up. So after it's gone through its boot up sequence, I think it takes about a minute. You'll hear it say ready to work. And then you know you're good to go.
Ready to work.
All right, love hearing that. And then a couple other things you might be wondering about. The warranty on this is 2 years. It does have a 30-day risk-free guarantee. And if you want to find out more, I do have a link down below. I may have mentioned that before, but it's exciting to see all the different things that they're offering. And I'm going to also have several other videos showing some of the accessories as well too. So please stay tuned for those and let me know what you think about this. I really enjoy talking to you guys and hearing your comments, questions, and opinions. So that's it for now, friends. Thanks for watching. See you next time. All right, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see some of my other Yarbo videos, I've made a short playlist for you right over here that you can check out. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, hit that button right there down below, because we got a lot more videos coming out soon.